Good morning. Nice to see that you've arrived at the website. And let me tell you some items that you might actually see in the website that might be new to you. Under the daily briefing, you'll notice that I've entered a commentary, which directly has to do with things we were discussing in class. And so there's some extended resources for you, as well as on the Twitter account, I posted a link to a full article having to do with issues of secret money and when political contributions are actually able to be made anonymously. And so we'll talk a little bit about this in class today. I have a short video clip that will really clarify the confusion we were having. And remember, we like to call this stuff dark money. Just another example of how political terms become almost like a second language, and we have to study and approach government and politics in our learning as if we are learning a second language. So on to the daily political briefing, where already a lot of interesting domestic issues are in play today. Obama returns to the White House after his excursion to Arctic Alaska, where he was promoting climate change. And he returns riding a high wave of knowing that he has secured enough support in Congress that the Iran deal that he orchestrated is going to withstand a congressional veto. And so a triumphant return, if you will, to the White House for Mr. Obama. There's more speculation today about candidacy of Vice President Biden, but two issues come into play. One, is there enough time for him to successfully mount a challenge to Hillary? And two, are there still enough uncommitted big donors available for him to secure enough resources to mount a successful campaign? So be aware when I mention time as well that we're talking about the nomination process. Does anybody know what the first state to hold a primary is? And that's kind of a trick question because the first state to hold a primary is not the first state to hold an election in the nominating process. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to talk about that today, but be on your toes. Who knows what kind of opportunities will come up. So be paying attention to that. Donald Trump back in the news. Has he ever exited the news? Well, he's in New York today meeting with Republican Party officials who have the pronounced and articulated purpose of meeting with him today in order to try to convince him to agree not to mount a third-party candidacy if he does not win the Republican nomination. In respect to that, Trump will hold a news conference at 2 o'clock. So guess what time that is for you if it's at 2 o'clock? That's right, as students of government and politics, we live basically as if we are on East Coast time. So do the math and get used to hearing 2 o'clock, not meaning that it's 2 o'clock. Also, I have a short video clip today that I'm going to show on the Trump aircraft. Did you know Trump has his own planes? These are amazing vehicles. And we'll talk about what kind of advantage that gives him over other potential candidates. Well, other Republican candidates. It's a short little video clip. I think you're going to find it fascinating. And you're going to find that his vehicles are pretty damn cool. So internationally, just real quickly, China in the news. A couple points on China. They held an amazingly major, huge military parade through Tiananmen Square, which was very impressive, while at the same time announcing plans to reduce their military by 300,000 troops. What's interesting about that is China has a military of 2 million people. So significant cuts, but what message is China sending? We're going to reduce our military, but boy, look at our huge military, especially with all the regional territorial conflicts going on in China. And while Obama was out in Alaska, for the first time, Chinese ships were spotted operating out in the sea over there. So put that in connection with what happened to the Chinese stock markets last week, and there's just no way to continue without addressing the fact that China is a very significant player on the international scene. Too early to speculate what all of these particular issues mean, but we sure will try in class today. I know this was an extended daily political briefing, but look, there's a lot going on in the world, so hopefully you can find 6 minutes to give this a play and to start prepping to be an informed individual on your way to wonkhood. All right, I'll start seeing you in about an hour and a half. Good morning. Be well. Get your homework done.